up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Youth and Wolf, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is a fantasy football show. Today's episode, we're going to go over the top 15 tight ends for next season. And we're going by off of today, like right now today. So, Jason, this is also known as the Beer Time Breakdown, which I'm trying to find my beer. I'm all grabbing glasses. Oh, God, I've got no fingernails. Here we go. Oh, no, I just spun it. Jason, tell the people how they can help this show.
You can help the show by giving us a subscription. We love the subscriptions. And you can also add a little bit more seasoning to it if you give us a like. And if you want to put in some creamy sauce into it to mix it all together, you you can also leave us a comment. Leave us a comment. We love the interaction. We also have the Fantasy Football and Show on Instagram. If you want more content, you can follow us on there.
Also, if you play Apex Legends, you can always send us your gamer, leave your gamer tag as a comment. Maybe we'll send you a friend request.
Oh, and then we'll be gaming. Yeah, Friday night, drinking behind controller. That's us. We'll be doing that.
Yeah. So, Jason, have you watched any? You know that the ALGS Nationals, or the Apex Nationals, going on right now.
I'm watching. I was just watching it while I was waiting for you to get this all set up.
Yeah, I had what I had to do? I had to eat a couple donuts with some orange juice, to pound a couple beers, just to get me ready for this.
There's like some bomb. So earlier this week, my boss brought in some donuts, and I want to say it's like, oh, I already forgot the name. Donut Nuck. And they were amazing. I was like, holy crap, these are some of the best donuts I've ever had in my entire life. I was like, you know what? I want to take my wife there on Saturday. So I told her, I was like, rise and shine, eggs and bakey. We're not taking that. That's a fakey. We're getting some donuts, but we're going to do it in the morning. So I'm going to take her to go get some fresh donuts on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning.
Well, Jason lives in the donut capital of the world with what stuff that goes on the Food Network. Food Network, man. Voodoo Donuts.
Oh, screw Voodoo Donuts. I ate Voodoo Donuts once, and that thing had me sick for like 3 days. Also, there was like Voodoo Donuts was on Drugs Inc. Portland one time, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be going there quite often.
Drugs Inc. Portland. That's funny. I mean, I got a maple bacon bar, and I thought that was amazing. So I like bacon on my maple bars, and I found that out in Portland.
My boss was telling me about that place. I'm going to take my wife, and he was talking about getting the maple bacon bar.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've made my own. I'm like, my mom makes bacon, and then I go get a donut from this place in Bakersfield. Oh my God, it's so good when I visit.
Winchell's?
No, man, it's across the street from Standard. Forget what that's called. Anyways,
Winchell's?
No, dude, it's not Winchell's. It's like All-Star Donut, I'm pretty sure is what it's called.
So they changed the name.
Yeah, probably.
Because it was Winchell's. Right next to the gas station, man. They used to get the fume for the Chevron to fuel.
Yeah, maybe it is. I can't remember, dude, but man, they make the amazing donuts. Shout out. So,
shout out. Advertisement.
Jason. Tight ends, man. So, if you invested in like the top tight ends this year, you probably went down in flames, other than Travis Kelce. Then I think Travis Kelce was the number one, like highest percentage player of fantasy football teams in the fantasy football championship. So really, you can make a case for Travis Kelce to be the fantasy football MVP this year.
Yes, and I'm glad that you said that, because I am going to share a stat when I click on this button, and it will tell me. Oh wait, did I save it? I might have actually saved it. I got a nice little resource here. So the most common fantasy players in the playoffs if you made it to the playoffs, the most common player that was on the playoff team was Travis Kelce with 72%.
I didn't know it was that high.
It's that high.
Well,
yeah. So, and the thing is, which is good because I don't know a lot of people who got him in the first round, maybe second, for sure third. So you get this guy in the third pick, and he was the most common player, or third pick in the third round. He was the most common player to get you to the playoffs. So I'm sure by just getting him in the third, and you have your number one and number two, depending on who you got, you had a pretty solid team on your first like three picks. Number two was Josh Jacobs with 67%. Number three was Jalen Hurts with 65%. And number four was Tyreek Hill with 64%.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Travis Kelce is the clear number one pick, and so I have the number one pick due to bad luck. I will repeat that, bad luck. But I've got to make my decision, man. Like, do I want Jamar Chase with the proven quarterback? Do I want Justin Jefferson, who's I'm going to pick because I'm a Vikings fan regardless, but he gets so much volume, and the coach and everything. Like, I trust that to continue. Or do you take Travis Kelce and just have a huge advantage? Like, I would really think about Travis Kelce if they do not trade or draft a top wide receiver this year, because even with Tony, I do believe that Kelce would still be the number one option on that team. So if that's the case, dude, I would seriously consider taking Kelce at number one. But I think that this is like maybe the last year that's even a possibility because of his age.
I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, this has already had me thinking right now. I'm like, man, his age is going to be up there, but this guy is clearly the number one in a Andy Reid offense with Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball. His favorite target is obviously Travis Kelce. And I think you're right. Travis Kelce is he could even be up there in arguments if he should be the number one pick. And that's because what we saw over the year, right? This was very weak tight end year this year. It's a tight end wasteland. A tight end wasteland.
Oh my god, dude.
And
Ray's like,
just think about the distance between the number one tight end and the number two, right? So 54 points.
Only 4 points, 4 points per game.
Okay, so per game, whatever. So I'm more thinking of like who was number two? I'm just curious.
George Kittle once he was like, George Kittle was like maybe like out of the top 10 until why can't I think of that? Brock Purdy came in, and then George Kittle took off. So I mean, George Kittle was not consistent by any means, but he had some huge games at the end.
Yeah, okay. So, but we're talking about a tight end who's averaging you 15 points per game compared to George Kittle, who's only averaging 11.
Right.
But still, we didn't even see that till like George Purdy. A lot. I mean, most of the season, I would say George Kittle was like a buzz until Purdy came around. But why wouldn't you want to get Travis Kelce when in a position that's very weak, very limited? You could get by far the best tight end in the best position and get him at number one and don't have to worry about that all for the rest of the year. And you already know when you go up in matchups against other players, other managers, you're going to have the best tight end who's likely going to score more points. 15 points coming from your tight end.
And I don't see, and literally, like, dude, if nothing changes, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to draft a number. They would have to draft like an amazing wide receiver, which we'll see. Or and I don't see them, changing the backfield. Like, Pacheco's really good. But like I said, dude, I don't see anything changing, man. Like, they're gonna have to trade for an established wide receiver for me to change my mind. And so I'm gonna have to seriously consider Justin, between Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce next year, because I'll have to see like what kind of wide receivers are available to me in the mock drafts, like in the second round, because I want like a top wide receiver. So that's tough.
Okay, so with that being said, Juju Smith, he's going to be a free agent, and Jarrett McKinnon, Nicole Hardman, free agent, Justin Watson, a free agent. So if they're going to get anybody, it's going to have to be in free agency, or it's going to have to be they're going to have to draft. With that being said, with the Chiefs being a run or a throw first team, I don't even think it matters, right? I mean, Travis Kelce is the number one option on that team, and he's got great quarterback, great offensive system, great tight end. I don't. If somebody got Travis Kelce first overall, I don't blame him.
Who would you rather have, Justin Jefferson or Travis Kelce?
See, I'm more of just like banking on tight ends this year coming up in the draft, doing a little bit better. I'm willing to wait. I'd rather get Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, like as a Vikings fan, like that, I think that's going to be where I go. But I could see making the point for Travis Kelce because there were so many disappointments this year. So, anyways, let's go into the next one, Jason. I have Mark Andrews as my number 2 because it looks I think that Baltimore said they're going to franchise Lamar this year. So, so Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, dude. Like, if Lamar Jackson's healthy, Mark Andrews is great.
Oh yeah, Mark Andrews is the dude. Oh my gosh. Beer down, breakdown.
Beer time, breakdown.
Yeah, so even with all the injuries through Lamar Jackson this year with his knee missing games, whatnot, Mark Andrews missing game. Mark Andrews still ended up as the number 3 average scoring tight end. That dude still averaged 10 points a game. Right? That dude is that good where it doesn't even matter what quarterback is playing. That guy is still going to make his catches. So I still like Mark Andrews. Even if Lamar Jackson's going to be there for another year, I think that just boosts him up to a number 2, which is probably what the same, right? This is what we've been seeing for the past like 2 or 3 years. Is usually Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and third is usually like George Kittle.
Jason, I do want to point out. So I just looked up wide receivers by average. So wide receivers. I mean, there's like they're all in the top. All the top wide receivers are about 18. Like Cooper Kupp's 18.8, Justin Jefferson's 17.9, Devontae Adams 17.2, Tyreek Hill pretty much 17.2, Jamar Chase like 16.6. So it's like the separation between the top wide receivers, like there's like a tier. I mean, I still think Justin Jefferson is in his own tier because of a ceiling. But dude, like, 4 points is a big deal for Travis Kelce to be ahead of all the other tight ends. When you're looking at like a half a point with wide receivers, and I don't even care about running backs right now because I know I'm not going to take a running back with my first pick.
Yeah, so with a tight end, like playing on your team, you are praying at least 10 points, right? You're praying like, God, I hope he gets 10 points, at least like 40 yards and a touchdown and a couple of catches. Blah, 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 but Travis Kelce, he's like guaranteed you 10 points. You don't even need to pray for it. This guy's guaranteed to get like 10 points because he's able to get up there to the 15 points. He has a huge ceiling and a higher floor than Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews definitely has lower floor than Travis Kelce. But Mark Andrews has a pretty high ceiling too. I would say, I mean, other than the emergence of George Kittle in the last like half of the year, he's probably the second highest when it comes to ceiling.
Yeah, so I think Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews that's what it was this year, with really no clear definition between the two. I mean, Travis Kelce was taking maybe half a round, maybe 1 round before Mark Andrews, sometimes back to back. But at the same time, dude, they separated a lot this year. Like, dude, Travis Kelce's his own tier. Then I think Mark Andrews, and I would almost put George Kittle in this because I'm going to go with Brock Purdy being the starter next year because they came back with it be 6 months he's having surgery, 6 months. He's going to be in training camp. I'm just assuming. Let's just assume that Brock Purdy is the starter for the San Francisco 49ers. I would think that he is the third on the list.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it's been for the last couple of years, where it's just like I said, Kelce, Mark Andrews, Kittle. But this year, I feel like there was some letdown with Mark Andrews. Kittle was pretty much let down until the end of the year. But Travis Kelce was pretty much consistent through all year. And like I said, he was the most common player on teams to reach the playoffs. So I think once again it's set. Kelce, Andrews, and Kittle with Purdy, believing that Purdy is going to be the quarterback going into next year. I believe that's going to stay. He's going to stay at number 3. He's going to stay as that third option as the tight end. And he's probably, what's going to happen is like whoever gets Travis Kelce first, there's somebody who's going to panic and they're going to like, oh, I got to get Mark Andrews. And then someone else is going to be like, oh, Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce's gone. I got to get Kittle. So they're likely going to be leaving in the top 3 or 4 rounds.
I like it when you stare at the camera, Jason.
I've been trying to do it. I want to look at your soul and just be like, listen to me. I am the future of all fantasy.
All right. So you agree with Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, George Kittle. And part of the fun about George Kittle, the reason that you draft George Kittle anyways is for the ceiling, because he's like the one tight end that can literally get you 30 plus points in a game. I mean, yeah, Travis Kelce did it this year because he was the only receiving option, and so Travis Kelce's actually matched, kind of George Kittle's ceiling because he'll catch 3 touchdowns or whatever. 4, man, I'm burping while I'm talking.
Yeah.
But dude, Kittle, he's a 50-yard touchdown waiting to happen. So, we're talking about that. Now we're going to go volume, Jason. And I might be biased, but I do like TJ Hockenson.
All right. Before you go into that, I just want to say, so we talked about how it was a tight end wasteland and what George Kittle ended up, what number, as the number 2 tight end this year, right? George Kittle, before week 15, and that was Purdy's first NFL start. This guy only had 7 games under 5 points, right? And he still ended up as number 2. So with that being said, this was a tough year as a tight end, but when Brock Purdy came to play, this guy scored 26, 28, 10, and 16 points. This guy had a total of 7 touchdowns in a span of 4 games. A span of 4 games, this guy had 7 touchdowns. So Purdy was looking for him quite a bit. And he was looking for him.
I think Jason, I know you're targeting Kelce. If you don't get Kelce second round, are you going Mark Andrews? It's going to take – we're going to have to see how it shakes out, dude.
I'm a guy that kind of waits on tight end, but Mark Andrews, you can't hate anybody who's going after Mark Andrews. When Lamar Jackson, he's going to come back, he's going to be healthy, but how long is Lamar Jackson going to be healthy for? This is 2 years in a row that when fantasy playoffs came around that he was not there. And then in, the NFL playoffs, he wasn't there either. But, the guy, Mark Andrews, he's probably going to at least get you to the playoffs, right? If Lamar Jackson stays healthy all year, this is great. I almost think it could be a steal to get him where he's at. I mean, it's still going to be high, right? It's still going to be like second or third round. But the last 2 years has shown that without Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews is not going to perform as well. So
plus, there's Isaiah Likely as well, Jason. But
right, that rookie was awesome. I was like talking to you about this early in the year, and I was like, why keep Mark Andrews? Trade that dude. What was that? That looked like
Something
something.
stuck to my glass.
I was like, it looked like something
I
fell.
touched it and fell off.
Okay, I was like, it looked like that was crazy. I thought it was your wedding ring. Um, I don't remember what I was saying, but I was saying like because likely, I mean, why not just trade Mark Andrews for draft picks or another player and just do Isaiah Likely because that guy played like a wide receiver this year. He was pretty damn good.
He had one
But
bad drop. I remember that, but yeah, no, you're right.
in the meantime, you are drafting Mark Andrews as if Lamar Jackson is going to be healthy all year. If Lamar Jackson is healthy all year, yeah, I'm okay getting Mark Andrews. What are the odds that he's missing multiple games 3 years in a row? I mean, he is a running quarterback, so I guess the percentage is pretty high. But
So, I mean,
hope.
I think I'm gonna. I think I would target Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. Depending on Purdy's health, I might consider George Kittle in there. Honestly, especially with the stat you just told me, like I would include, yeah, like that'd be no problem for me. But then after that tier, because I think that's a tier break after George Kittle. Like I said, TJ Hockenson, dude, was getting like 10 plus targets a game. Like we said, this is not like a super analytics. We're gonna get into the analytics, over the summertime and stuff. Probably whenever springtime when it warms up. I'm wearing a beanie indoors for God's sake. But yeah. So later on, we're gonna go over the analytics. But from what I can remember, dude, TJ Hockenson was like maybe the number one target, if not the number, because maybe the number one. Maybe he might have been targeted more than what's his name since he got there, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, so I am almost to the point where I'm like, dude, you could probably put this guy maybe in front of Mark Andrews just
Oh.
for the targets.
TDs though. That's Mark Andrews has like 3 touchdown games, man. Like, and then when I watch Hockenson, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, he'll get a touchdown, but to dominate the end zone like Kelce or Andrews, and then I don't see, and then Kittle gets like 50 plus yard touchdowns. So that's the difference, I guess, for me.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with that. Um, in the last, I mean, besides Chicago in the last week where he was only one target per one reception, he then week 17, 12 targets. Week 16, 16 targets. Then going backwards, 9 targets, 8 targets, 6, 9, 10. He's going to get a lot of targets. When it comes to the red zone with the Minnesota Vikings, it's not going to go to Justin Jefferson. It's not going to go to TJ Hockenson because
Or
TJ
Dalvin Cook.
yeah, he only had I think 3 touchdowns for the Vikings this year, and 2 of them came in the same game. But I'm hoping everyone's hoping who's going to be probably picking this guy is that next year, he's going to have a whole training camp with the coach and the system and the quarterback and all that. He might even perform a little bit better, maybe get some touchdowns in there. He's got to get more touchdowns. He only had 3 for the Vikings. You only think he's going to get more than that. How much more? I'm not sure, but I can. It's one of those things. As long as Lamar Jackson is healthy, I'm definitely taking Mark Andrews. So I think you're going to pick him first over, or you're going to pick him over T.J. Hawkins, like either way. But T.J. Hawkins is definitely a number right after Mark Andrews, just because of the volume, and because that volume equals opportunities. Opportunities equals more chances to score any points and touchdowns.
So you like TJ Hockenson more than George Kittle?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. So
Well, you said you were talking about Mark Andrews, maybe even you're. Oh, so I was thinking. I thought we agreed that Mark Andrews is above George Kittle. So I was like, oh man.
oh, I think I'm totally lost on what I'm even talking about. No, I'm just talking about. I think I totally got lost in my train of thought when I was talking about 9%.
Woo!
So I think TJ Hawkinson. It's almost like I want to say that he's probably the first tier, the first third tier, if that makes sense. You're going to have Travis Kelce, Tier number 2, you're going to have Mark Andrews and George Kittle. Tier number 3, you're going to have TJ Hockenson as the first pick just because of his volume.
My favorite tier is tier number 3.
I like tier number.
So, what makes us different than other shows? We have micro tiers. We are not afraid to put one person in their own tier.
Yeah, what do we got? We got Justin Jefferson and Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes in their own tiers.
Yeah, Pat, dude, you're right. I was thinking running back was Christian McCaffrey. I got to go through the running backs again. Holy crap. I wanted to cuss so bad right there, and I said crap.
Don't do it.
I can't remember what the I'll have to go back. Running backs were our first, and I'm buzzing. Jason. So we had TJ Hockenson next. Okay, so that was a tier break after George Kittle, you think? Or do you you did.
Yes.
So Dallas Goedert, he came back in the playoffs, and dude, he was killing it before he got injured. And I mean, Jalen Hurts is going to be there next year. The Eagles are going to have a great roster next year. How do you feel about who'd you rather have, TJ Hockenson or Dallas Goedert?
Hockenson. They pretty much I mean, they average damn near the same thing over the season. I mean, it's pretty much, TJ Hockenson was from the Lions, where he wasn't getting much attention there. You could kind of say like Dallas was also injured, so it's just like the points. But when Dallas Goedert came back and TJ Hockenson was playing for the Vikings, I could have either one. I was okay. You're gonna have Hockenson because he's gonna get the receptions, he's gonna get the yards, or are you gonna get Goedert, Dallas Goedert, who's
I put an E at the end. It makes it sound pretty cool.
Goedert. I think Dallas is probably going to get you more touchdowns. Let's take a moment and just watch Tyler laugh for a second.
I was thinking, I was like, dude, like I didn't realize that his last name was like Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
Hey, Dallas Goedert, Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
That's why they called you Joe Dirt. That's Nunamaker, not Nunamaker. Nunamaker. My last name's Nunamaker. Sorry.
I'm almost thinking just because Dallas is going to have more, he has a potential to get more touchdowns.
I don't think he's reached a ceiling yet.
This was also like, I think his first year where he's had a severe injury like that too, where he's missed multiple games. You know what? I think USOB, you talked me into it. I think I'm going to put Dallas in front of TJ just because of the potential of getting touchdowns.
No, you're right. I mean, but the thing is like, so they have, it's just scary because he's got 2 elite wide receivers, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. He's been such a heavy targeted tight end, like last year and this year, like it continued on. So your sister had him, and I was afraid of Dallas Goedert, dude. Like to have a tight end that puts fear in you. I'm not really that afraid when I see TJ Hockenson. I'm like, oh, whatever. But Dallas Goedert, I was actually afraid of. So I think they're in the same tier. But depending on what you want to do, Dallas Goedert could be over TJ Hockenson.
So I see it like this. I see it, the Eagles, they do have like some tight ends, I think, or some wide receivers, some top-notch wide receivers that you could throw the ball to. But they're going to have games. A.J. Brown's going to have a game that he doesn't really perform. We're seeing it right now in the playoffs. The last 2 has been kind of but they haven't really needed him. Devontae Smith is going to have games where he's not going to really perform. But you know who's going to at least get you like 5 to 7 points, maybe even a touchdown every game?
Dallas
Goedert.
Joe Dirt. That's what they called you, Joe Dirt.
Yeah, you dirty boy.
Where's the Hemi? Let's get a footprint gas pedal installed.
Yeah, Tyler. Dallas only got under 7 points 3 times this year.
No, dude, I'm serious. Like Dallas Goedert had an amazing year, and we'd be talking about him probably above TJ Hockenson if it wasn't for this. So for you to put him above that, like, yeah. And George Kittle, I mean, literally, George Kittle's lucky Brock Purdy became the quarterback. Otherwise, I'd say George Kittle's so far down. But Brock Purdy really likes George Kittle, so we have to go off of the last 7 games or whatever.
Yeah, George Kittle was he was on the verge of being a bust for this year until Purdy came in, and since week 15, George Kittle just killed it. So he saved people in the end. And what do I always say? It's not how you start in fantasy football, it's how you finish.
And that's what people remember. So I don't know. I mean, he probably won people championships, but he might not have got you there. So Jason, Dallas Goedert. No, so we have over TJ Hockenson. Would you rather have TJ Hockenson or David Njoku?
Oh, that's a tough one. I like the tough one. I don't, because then you put me on the spot, and after I've had like a tall can of this 9% tea, like
you're drinking tea, man.
Yeah, man. This is some brown tea. I got some sweet and low sugar packets in it.
Jeez, dude. Oh, okay, I understand what you're saying.
You know what? I still probably go with TJ.
Me too.
I'll go with TJ because Deshaun Watson's supposed to be the Cleveland Brown quarterback, and you never really were picking tight ends that from the Texans or anything like that, right? Like, oh, I got to get what's that dude's name, Atkins from the Texans, or OJ Howard, because Deshaun Watson loves to throw to the tight ends. No, I mean, this guy's a little bit different. David's a little bit different, but until I see otherwise, I'm going to go for something that I know for sure, and that's going to be TJ.
Yeah, and like if Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback like he should be, I'd be like, I'd probably rather have Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason, your main argument is correct. Like, when have we ever wanted a tight end? I forget who the tight end. Oh, God, dude, it was some like white dude. It wasn't Fell. Who the hell was it, dude? There was some white dude on the Texans that was okay for a little while, like top 10 tight end, but at the same time, we're not talking about top tight ends, top 10 tight ends right now. I'm talking about top 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're talking about number 6. So I just gave David Njoku like the nod because of what he did this year, but at the same time, I have him down. When I dive deep into it, I'm probably going to put him lower on my list because of Deshaun Watson to tight ends and how I just don't really trust Deshaun Watson as much as I should anyways.
Yeah. I mean, if Brisket was still there, oh, absolutely. In my other league, I did have David Njoku on my team. He was great until he got injured, and he just missed a lot of time. But while he was in there, that dude was definitely getting the targets, and it was like not even anything crazy, right? It was like David running to the first down marker and just turning around, and Jacoby was like throwing it to him every time. But that's what it is, right? It's just opportunities. He's got to stay healthy. I mean, he's a big dude. He's kind of a beast. As long as he stays healthy, he could do pretty well. But Deshaun Watson is a quarterback. I've never remembered him being really tight end friendly. So that kind of worries me. I guess we'll just have to maybe he's never had anybody quite like David. Maybe Njoku. Maybe things might change and he'll start throwing to him a little bit more. You feel like he would have to with having a weapon like that.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize because I just forgot that the person I compared Njoku I compared this guy to Njoku, Chigismo Okonkwo, the tight end for the rookie tight end for the Titans. I actually forgot him on this list, so look out for the future. Yeah, because he will be included in the top 15. I'm just saying, dude. Like, I was like, dude, you're talking about, man. I forgot you. I think you were talking about how he's built. I can't remember what you said, but like, he did get injured this year. I'd say Njoku's like, he's more of a sturdy dude. He's thick, but he did get injured.
Yeah, this was probably the first time that I've seen him actually be injured for a long amount of time.
Yeah,
I mean, he missed a total of 4 games. So, and
and
then when
this guy,
Deshaun Watson came back, he was like a nobody. But before then, he was doing a little something.
well, he was like the number one option in that offense for a while. So like that's why. Yeah, we have 1 minute. Yeah, we might as well take it a break. So
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take this break.
we're gonna, because I was just really gonna go into the next tight end, but so David Njoku, we're still on a tier here. And David Njoku, like I said, David Njoku, we're going off of just like respect of what he did. But the next guy coming up, I actually have over him here in a second. And Jason will agree because he owned him.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, enjoy Jason's commercial break, and we will be here in 1 second. Later. Okay. Okay.
Good. Oh, I see. I see what you try to do, man. You try to get that BTS up on me. It ain't gonna happen. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go.
So yeah, I pressed record randomly. So, anyways, Jason,
he's a trickster. Yeah,
we were talking about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Stop!
So if you play Apex, you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, maybe we might be for you. We are like in a very select crowd right now, Jason.
We are your people.
Target audience. Oh my god.
People in their mid-30s.
Yeah. We're gonna go way faster on this now. David Njoku, Jason, would you rather have him or Evan Engram? Evan Ingram's next.
Evan Engram.
Yeah. So Evan Engram, I think that this might have been his best. It's kind of scary though, because Calvin Ridley, he's progressing as a quarterback, Zay Jones, everything else going on. I feel like I'm blurry, but I don't even care right now.
Man, I am not afraid of no Calvin Ridley taking anything away from Juwan Engram. Calvin Ridley might take some things away from Zay Jones, some Christian Kirk. But Evan Engram, he ain't going to get nothing lost from Calvin Ridley.
So,
I like me some Evan Engram. Just so you know that he is entering a unrestricted free agent this year.
Yeah, but they're going to re-sign him. I don't think that's going to change at all. But so, Jason, I think that I would rather have Evan Engram over Njoku because of the quarterback change. I think that I would rather have Goedert over Hockenson. So I think, who would you rather have, Evan Engram or TJ Hockenson?
I think I'm okay with TJ Hockenson over
Me
Evan.
too.
Yeah. And Marvin Jones is likely gone from Jacksonville too. So, because he's a free agency, I think there's a good chance that he might retire this year, but we'll see. But I think you're right. I think Jacksonville is going to re-sign Evan Engram, do what they can to re-sign him, but they're going to let go their top wide receiver as a free agent, not in the team, but as the free agent. He's the top wide receiver leaving, and I think they're not going to re-sign Marvin Jones since they got Calvin Ridley coming back. So, Evan Engram, I can see another good year for him.
Yeah, and Evan Ingram's a first-round draft pick. He's super hyper athletic tight end, and this is more about Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, and that offense. So yeah, I mean, he was the most dependable target for Trevor Lawrence this year. I mean, dude, look at Patrick Mahomes, how he still relies on, even though it doesn't matter how experienced he gets, he's still relying on his tight end. So yeah, I think, oh, man. Jason, there's some kind of smoke in the air over here. It's making me cough.
Electric City.
Oh, you almost said my favorite song. I was like, what? Electric Avenue. But okay, here we go, Jason. Evan Engram or Pat Freirmuth?
Evan Engram, for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's the end of a tier. I do like Pat Freirmuth. I own Pat Freirmuth this year, but Oh, I think that like, as far as like what I think is like guaranteed going to happen, I think that Evan Ingram, Njoku, and Goddard and Hockenson are way more like, volume oriented, uh, guaranteed points, much higher floor. I had Pat Freirmuth, dude. He had some terrible games, but
Look at the quarterback, Tyler.
Kenny
Look at the
Pickett,
quarterback situation.
the rookie, what the rookie?
The rookie, Trubisky, he didn't have the regular Ben Roethlisberger throwing
Well,
him.
as soon as Pickens got in there, dude, he was getting like 8 targets a game. I mean, it's probably not 8 targets that game. There was still a lot of games with no targets, so it probably evened out to like 6 or 7.
And then next year we have Pickett coming in as number 2 experience.
With the whole number one, I think that he's going to be a lot better. I would like to see George Pickens, even though Deontay Johnson just signed a long-term contract there. It's tough, dude. It's really tough because like I love Pickens and Freirmuth, but Deontay Johnson just kind of throws a wrench in everything. But I'm willing to invest in Freirmuth if I have to. Like I am like literally investing in everything over this tier. Like I don't want this tier. I want the tier above. I want Evan Ingram, Njoku, Goddard, Hockenson, Kittle, Andrews, Kelce. So, Jason, how do you feel about this tier?
Sorry, all I heard was Siri going off. No, this tier, because we're talking about Kenny Pickett. I am a fan of Kenny Pickett next year. I was a fan of him this year. We talked about the Steelers. We were just waiting for Trubisky to get replaced by Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett was going to have his struggles. He did have his struggles. He is a rookie. Now he's going to have another year under his contract or under his his belt, his career. He's going to be experience number 2. Same with George Pickens. George Pickens, I am high on George Pickens. I like George Pickens. He's going to be wide receiver number 2. I do believe Mike Tomlin is going to go after offensive line in that draft. Possibly get help with Najee Harris and the run game. I think there is a chance that Kenny Pickett will play better, and that will mean Freirmuth will play better.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I muted myself because Ray, my wife, came in with the dogs, and
Yeah, don't do that.
she's like, "Would you wash the dog? He smells like sh." And I said, "Okay." So yeah, Pat Freirmuth. We're starting another tier here. So now, Jason, would you have Pat Freirmuth? Thank you for going over that with me. My door makes a beeping noise when it opens. It's like a 7-Eleven. Greg Dulcich with Sean Payton, mind you, or Pat Freirmuth. Both second year tight end.
This is
Because we're talking to Jimmy Graham,
I'm trying to do the sounds from the what's that roller coaster ride in Disney? The
Space Mountain.
No, the other one. The Mandarin.
The what? A Matterhorn.
The Matterhorn. When you're like going by the bottomless snowman. I don't know why I wanted to make that noise, but
I didn't even hear it.
Oh, you couldn't? Hold on.
What the?
There's something. Oh my god! I just blew so hard into the microphone. I think I heard something. No, wow! I can't even hear that.
I'm like blowing. My cheeks hurt. They feel like they're gonna explode. It's like I blew up a
happened.
balloon that wouldn't blow up.
That's what happened to me. You want to know how I got these scars? So, that's a little risky, Tyler. Would you say that's a little risky to get a Dulcich from the Broncos?
So I guess you're saying you like I'm guess you're saying you like Pat Freirmuth over Greg Dulcich. Great.
I mean, I would say that just because Pat Freirmuth at least gets the targets. He at least gets those targets where Greg didn't. And I know Sean Payton's going to be there, but we're also comparing Dulcich to like Jeremy Shockey and Jimmy Graham.
No, you're right.
They were kind of built a little bit different. Russell Wilson did play with Jimmy Graham, and then how did Jimmy Graham do during those years in Seattle?
No, you're right, Jason. And it's not like he's been a huge tight. He throws touchdowns to tight ends, but never volume. And three. Why'd I say three? There was something about three. I don't remember.
Another tight end that he did well with?
Nah, I can't remember. That's what happens.
It was Jared Cook. Jared Cook was pretty good for Sean Payton. I would have loved Jared Cook on
the Saints or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I just think it's interesting. And then Dalton Schultz, Jason, is Dalton Schultz staying on the Cowboys? He's going, right?
He's gone, bro. So he is a free agent going into this year, right? And he is probably one of the top free agents for the Cowboys. Do they pick him up? I highly doubt it. They drafted a quarterback, or they drafted a tight end last year with like, oh my gosh, was it Hindervach or Hinderketch or blah, 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 or
he had a couple good games this year, and I should probably put him on here.
They got tight ends, right? I don't think they're too concerned about tight ends. Why pay for this tight end that probably one of the other tight ends can do? So I'd be very surprised if he comes back. He was on a franchise tag last year, I do believe. Quote me if I'm wrong. But with that being said, I feel like he was good. He wasn't impressive enough to keep for another year. I'd be surprised if they keep him, and he's going to be gone. And so there's going to be another tight end options for the Cowboys.
Tight ends, they do adore.
Put your number on this paper because I would love to throw you the ball and score touchdowns.
Oh! Anyways, good thing all we know is what I always think it's 90s rap that I know. Well, it is 90s rap, I know, but it's mostly early aughts. I think like when I think something's 90s, it's like 2004.
Yeah.
It's like what?
I was thinking like Straight Outta Compton, thinking it's like 2010.
Hey, dude, straight. Like, hey, man, I listened to that stuff back.
And I got like people who are like, my dad listened to that while he was on parole.
Huh. Okay.
Anyway, so we're talking about Dalton Schultz, right? Did you like Dalton Schultz? I had him for most of the year. Did you like him, Tyler?
Well, second half of the year, he turned it on. So, like, when we're looking at this point in time, dude, tight ends, like we said, tight end wasteland, it's like, man, like Dalton Schultz actually did really well in the second half. But, like, you know, he cost him a playoff game, and now where is he going to go? Depending on where he goes, I think he could end up here.
I think end up here, end up where?
What is this, top 10? Maybe number 10?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about like the tiers. Yes.
This is number 10.
Depending where he goes, I'm looking down this line. I think I see at least two people I might have.
Kyle Pitts.
What?
Were you going to say Kyle Pitts?
No, I've given up on that guy. No, you know what? I mean, come on, dude. Let's just get a quarterback in there. Let's get a new quarterback. Let's get a new coach, even though the coach is still there. So I don't think he's going anywhere, which blows my mind. But, gosh, maybe Kyle Pitts if he got, I don't know.
Greg Dulcich. So Greg Dulcich or Dalton Schultz?
If Dalton Schultz was a coal boy, if he was a coal boy,
Dalton Schultz, yeah.
Coal boys are the guys who hand out the coal around Christmas in the stockings. When you reach in and you're like thinking, I'm a good boy. And they're like, no, you got a bunch of coal. He's the guy that passes that around over the year. Coal boy. If he's a cowboy, Dalton Schultz, for sure. He's one of Dak's targets when he's looking in the red zone.
He's probably in the next. Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
With that being said,
Kyle Pitts or Greg Dulcich, Jason?
You're asking me questions I don't want to answer.
So same tier. What about Zach Ertz or that rookie? It's like McBride. I forget his first. Trey McBride, I think.
Trey McBride or Zach? I would go with Zach Ertz.
Well, it's the same, same thing because I don't know if Zach Ertz is going to be on the team again. I need to do some research.
I think he might be. I think he might keep him on for cheap. And there was a time where Kyle Murray did like Kyle Ertz. He was getting a lot of targets, a lot of yards. He went a touchdown every now and then. He is getting up there in age. He only had 4 touchdowns this year, which is kind of
injured a lot.
But for the most part, I think before he got injured, he was averaging at least above 7. Yeah, averaging 8 points a game. I kind of like that as your tight end. I kind of like that, especially this year.
So Zach Ertz, Jason, or Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts is a wild card. I don't know with this guy.
And they're keeping they're not going to fire that coach, Arthur.
Yeah, that dude needs to bounce.
Crap. Can't remember his name. It's not Arthur Blank. That's the goddamn.
That's the owner.
That's the owner.
Arthur.
Anyway, he was offensive coordinator for the Titans, and he came over, and he's like, "I'm going to run the ball. Everybody's going to know my name," and he has not done well.
Everyone's going to know my name. Well, I mean,
every inch of they're going to remember us. They're going to remember this night when they watched the fantasy footballing show. Every second of every minute of every hour. Anyways, Jason.
Dead air.
Okay. Dead air.
Yeah.
I mean, we fucking.
Dude, you gotta think as today is being Sunday and we're in a church and the pastor is talking about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Man, don't be throwing the F word while he's describing our Savior.
Were you looking at my sister, man?
Hey, man, you talking to my sister, me?
That's Friday 2 right there. If you haven't watched Friday 2.
Yeah, they got the pit bull.
Go watch it, man. I love that movie.
The one thing about Dalton Schultz, before we go into that, I just want to throw that he was, he only had 5 touchdowns this year. He also didn't have Dak Prescott for most of the year, but he was pretty inconsistent. It was pretty much every other game that he did well, which I mean, I guess it's fine if you're just going to expect that, and you probably got Dalton Schultz a little bit later in the draft. I got him off of waivers, so it's hard to even complain about something like that.
All right, Jason.
I was going to say he ended the year as a top 12 quarterback or tight end, averaging 7.2 points per game, and I would say this year, I would say 7 was the spot that I was trying to at least reach with most of my quarterbacks or my tight ends. Other than, the top 2 tiers, which was Kittle, Andrews, Kelce, Hockenson.
Yeah, I mean, I usually 10, 10, 10. Tight end, defense, kicker. I want 10 from all those.
At least, right? That's where you want to try to get out of those players. Yeah.
But I mean,
you only had 4 tight ends who were getting that for you this year.
That's why. So I want a top end wide receiver. I want an elite quarterback, and I want the top 3 tiers of tight ends. I'm not waiting on tight end. Because I'm not, dude. I hate it, dude. I just hate it so much. And like I said, fantasy footballers are talking about how you can wait on quarterback. Guess what, dude? Go wait on quarterback so I can win the league, dog. Um,
Hold
and
on.
then, oh.
This guy's barking when I press the laugh button.
Oh, I thought that was all I heard was barks, dude.
I was laughing. It was like,
when I say Taysom Hill, how do you feel about Taysom Hill?
oh, you're lucky if you're starting this guy, right? Like, you're not going to go and draft Taysom Hill. Also, this dude's like 40 years old. You're not going to go and draft out Taysom Hill. Yeah, he ended like number 5 in tight ends. But this is going to be a different league. This is going to be a different year for the New Orleans Saints, right? You're thinking they're going to get probably an offensive line and a quarterback, or they're going to switch to Jameis Winston.
Derek Carr is interested. They apparently have interest in Derek Carr as well.
Derek Carr might have a chance to go in there. I think the only reason why Taysom Hill was even that high because he's a tight end position, and in week 5 against Seattle, he scored 37 points.
No, and you're right. And what I wanted to say is I actually prefer the other tight end on the Saints. His last name is Johnson. Why can't I think of his name? Josh Johnson? I don't remember his name.
What is that?
He was catching touchdowns.
Juwan
Johnson.
Juwan Johnson. There's only Juwan Johnson.
And like say that Derek Carr goes to the Saints or they actually get like a legit quarterback, even Winston, I don't care. I would invest heavily in Olave and Juwan Johnson because like, dude, that guy is a touchdown machine. Like he knows how to get open in the touchdowns or in the end zone. He knows how to get open in the touchdowns.
He knows
I really like. Please watch our show. We like American football.
Football. We like a little football in our channel. Yeah, there
USA number 1.
USA number 1. I mean, Juwan Johnson ended the league with 7 touchdowns. There was only one game. There was 2 games where he had multiple touchdowns. The only thing was like he did. He could have been a reason why he got you to the playoffs because he was like a mid-round talent. Like he didn't really start performing until like the mid-season, right? Season on until you probably hit the first week of the playoffs. He was like doing pretty well. Then he kind of did crap. I mean, he got 8 points against Philly, but I'm not trusting Andy Dalton as my quarterback. Switch that up for me. Saints, New Orleans Saints, switch that up for me. I don't want Dalton. Put in Winston or give me a new quarterback from the draft.
Give me Winston or give me death.
Give me death or give me W's. That's what he did, right? That's what James.
He be deep out in them W's.
Hey man, TYN or TY7. This is Youth 7, dude. No one.
Stargate 9, dog.
My mother loves that show. I
love that show. Get out of here.
You never watched Stargate. Oh
I own the DVDs. Are you kidding me?
This is our first fight that we've ever had.
I just had to give it. I'm giving it to my wife's work, and she's like, "Do you think they'll like Stargate?" And I was like, "Stargate's amazing, man."
You have the Stargate TV shows on HBO?
On DVD?
Oh my god! I thought you had the movie.
I had the movie, and then I watched the TV show with the guy from
MacGyver.
MacGyver, yeah, and that was good too.
Come on, man, you're confusing me.
All right, so we have at the end I think we have Kyle Pitts at the end of that tier, and then we have Ertz. Would you rather have Ertz? Would you put Ertz in the same tier as like Juwan Johnson and Taysom Hill whichever one you prefer?
Yeah.
And then Dawson Knox, Jason. Do you like Dawson Knox more than Taysom Hill or Juwan Johnson?
This is crazy. So call me maybe, but I would have Dawson Knox in front of most of these people.
in front of Dalton Schultz?
I mean, no, you know what?
In front of Kyle Pitts?
Kyle Pitts. You don't even ask me about Kyle Pitts. I don't
Kyle
know.
Pitts, I have to put him there because he's like a freak. And it's like, is he ever going to go off? You know, like, I just have to put him up there.
This guy had a touchdown. Dawson Knox had a touchdown in the last 4 games. He had two touchdowns coming into that game.
And that's what he did last year, dude.
I know. It's the end of the year where Dawson Knox really performs. And I think if that's just because that's when Josh Allen struggles, is at the end of the year. And you're just trying to throw the ball to whoever, and Dawson Knox is the guy who gets the ball. This is why I was so big on him that coming into this year. And I drafted him, and he got 0.5, 6.0, or he got 6 points, 4 points, 5.5. Then I dropped him, and I think he was out for Pittsburgh, and then he came back and scored, 10 points. And then he was single digits for most of the year after that. It wasn't until the last 4 out of the last 5 games they actually did something in this life. So, your question, Tyler, what'd you ask me?
Dawson Knox. Would you rather have Dawson Knox or Kyle Pitts? Or no, Dalton Schultz. You said no. Would you have Dawson Knox or Ertz?
Ertz.
Would you have Dawson Knox or Taysom Hill? Or Juwan Johnson?
Oh, I'd probably go Juwan Johnson.
All right, so you're aligned with me right now. That's kind of funny.
Why is that funny, Tyler?
Because you're all, man, I don't know. I'd rather have him over all these people. Then I started going over it, and you're like, yeah, actually, you're right.
I'm just thinking about it because you're right. The thing is like he's not going to get you the playoffs. So if you make it to the playoffs, he's going to probably do something. But
because if you don't like that, we're talking about Gray Dulcich, and Pat Freirmuth, and then over that is Evan Engram, which we're not even talking about. So,
yeah, I think with that tier, we're talking about more of volume.
So exactly, and so Jason, do you think that Tyler Higbee, with a healthy Matthew Stafford playing, belongs in something higher than Dawson Knox territory?
Yeah, I do.
It's hard, dude, because he was like the number 3 tight end or something like that while Matthew Stafford was healthy. I mean, people were trading for him, and
yes,
Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay are coming back next year.
So I thought Tyler Higbee was a late pick that you could get earlier. When we did our videos earlier, I was like, you get Tyler Higbee late because he's there. He's really used around like short yardage and like end zone, and he was doing his thing. But then the Rams just crumbled before our very eyes, and we were just like, oh my God, I'm going blind. I can't see what's going on. Because then Akers came around and was like, hey, I'm going to score probably like 1 or 2 touchdowns a game if you're down, But with Tyler Higbee, if those people are coming back, I still like Tyler Higbee. I still like him. And you're asking me if I want him over. Hello? Over
11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's number 15. Dawson Knox.
If I want him over Dawson Knox, I think I'm going to keep Dawson Knox.
Oh, man, dude, look how much we're aligning. It's because tight ends are so weird, and it's kind of crazy how much we're actually, like, you've taught me into a couple of ones up, like I think Dallas Goedert over TJ, and then maybe Evan Engram over Njoku, which I had anyways. Dude, we're gonna go so long on tight ends. It's so funny.
Which it's kind of crazy because I'm all about Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, but you're more on that team than I am. So I'm surprised you had Evan Engram where he was at.
I can't wait to see Calvin Ridley, and I see Trevor Lawrence throwing downfield so much.
I know.
I don't know. We'll see. But at the same time, dude, Doug Peterson has like cultivated the tight end culture. There's always a good tight end in the Peterson offense. So I should probably believe in him more.
Who was the tight end for the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl under Doug Peterson?
Dude, wasn't it Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz. Yeah.
All right. So, Jason, After I think Pat Freirmuth, maybe Gray Dulcich. Oh, Dalt is the last tight end I want, man. So, like, I'm targeting the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 top 10 tight ends. And maybe I don't want to try to rely on Dalton Schultz on a different team or Kyle Pitts. So I'm going with Gray Dulcich and above. And Gray Dulcich would be kind of a hard option for me, but whatever, dude. I mean, I believe in Sean Payton's offense. And then the other two tight ends that I had on the bottom, Hayden Hurst, Gerald Everett. Would you put any of those above Tyler Higbee or Dawson Knox?
Everett. I would put it in front of Tyler Higbee.
Oh, all right. But not above Dawson Knox?
No, not until we see some touchdowns between them.
Yeah, because, I mean, Everett had a rough last half of the year. He was killing it first half. Last half is pretty bad. But they're getting Kellen Moore, and you know what Kellen Moore did with Dalton Schultz. So it might be interesting to get Gerald Everett. That's something to think about. But so what Jason and I are doing next year, we are waiting on running backs. We are getting an elite wide receiver. We're trying to get an elite quarterback and a top tight end. So Jason, I think, is going to get an elite tight end and an elite quarterback and probably a top wide receiver. I'm going an elite wide receiver. We'll have to just see how this goes, but you know what we're doing. So we're waiting on running backs and targeting these other positions next year.
We'll see how it goes, but in my ideal draft would be wide receiver, quarterback, tight end.
But that's if you can wait on tight end.
Depending what tier is left. If not, running back.
All right, dog. That's it. I've got to pee. I know you've got things to do. I haven't even eaten. I ate donuts instead of I've got a steak sitting here.
I gotta go order something, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Mexican food, some Latino food.
Oh, you're so funny. Anyways, hey, everybody, I think we lost the 70th subscriber, but then guess what? We gained another one. So you cannot kill us. We only get stronger.
Call us the cockroach of YouTube.
I've got to wash my dog, apparently.
We cannot be destroyed. We will be back in multiple families.
Jason, say goodbye to the people.
Hey, bye, people.
Catch you on the flip side.